A lot of times when I'm making a purse or bag, I like to sew buttons on the base of the bag because it lifts my bag up off the floor. It's sitting on the button rather than on the fabric, and I think it really increases the life of my bag and keeps it from getting so dirty. So when I put these buttons on, I like to sew them on using my machine. And it's really quick and simple to do. That's what I'm going to show you in this segment. First of all, I'll use an Elmer's washable school glue stick, and it comes either in a blue gel or a purple one that's in a white package. I like either one of those really equally well. And I'm just going to put a little dab of glue on the back, and then I can position it right in place where I want it and press it down, and it's not going to slide and move around on me while I'm trying to sew it in place. The next thing that you need to do is consider the type of foot. My favorite is the number 20 open toe embroidery foot that Bernina puts out. It's got an opening here so I can do a zigzag stitch, which I'm going to need, and it's wide enough that I can see, and it sits down on my bottom so I can, on my button, so I can see where those holes are. So I'm going to put that foot on my machine. I'm going to make sure to drop my feed dogs. My feed dogs need to be down because I don't want my stitching to be moving as I go. And then I'm going to move my needle position over to the left. You could also go to the right, but I want to do a few stitches right when I start to lock my thread. So I'm going to take it down so that my needle is right in that hole. I'm going to move my stitch length all the way down to 0 so that I can do 3 or 4 locking stitches right there in that spot. Then I'll put my needle position or stitch width up to whatever it takes to go through those 2 holes. And usually on my machine it's between 3.5 and 4. So again, because my feed dogs are dropped, this isn't going to move on me. And I can just move that back and forth. When I started, I said I wanted to move my stitch length down. My stitch length isn't going to matter because I've got my feed dogs dropped. It was my stitch width that I moved to 0 when I started. So now I'm doing it 3.5 or 4, and I'm going to do 8 or 10 stitches across there to hold that. Then I'll just scoot over to the other side of the button, put my needle down. I always double check to make sure I've got it right. Do 8 or 10 stitches there. Then I usually like to go back to the hole where I started, so I've got a little X in the middle there. Put my needle down. Then move my stitch width back to 0 so that I can do my little locking stitches. And again, because my needle position is in the left position, it's going to be in that same hole. Then I just do 5 or 6 little locking stitches there, and my button is sewn in place beautifully and sturdily.